Hello to my wonderful 5th grade artists and every other artist that's joining me today for this video. It's me, Mrs. P, Mrs. Pendleton, your art teacher. Thank you so much for joining me today for this video. And as always, I'm just on here to say hi and to let you know, all of my students, my 5th grade artists and artists of every grade, that I love you and I miss you, and I hope that you're taking care of yourselves and taking care of your families, and you're staying in and staying safe. And even if you're not one of my students, know that you have teachers that are loving and missing you as well and are hoping the same things for you and your families. So today's video, we are moving on to our next project, which is about self-portraiture, okay? Just in case you don't know, a self-portrait is a picture of yourself. However, for 5th grade level self-portraits, we're going to be doing something a little different. We're going to be doing an upper body self-portrait, which just includes your head, neck, and shoulders. And we're going to emphasize an expression. That's right, a facial expression that represents a feeling, something that we're feeling, maybe joy or excitement, even anxiety or frustration, something that a lot of us are experiencing right now. And hopefully, we're not just experiencing the anxiety and frustrations, but finding some ways to experience some joy and excitement and some happiness as well. So whatever feeling that you would like to represent in our self-portrait, we're going to do together. Okay, are you ready? Let's do it. Okay, my 5th grade artists, here we go. We're going to be working on our expressive self-portraits. Here's our vocabulary for this project. 1, we talked about what a self-portrait is. A self-portrait is a picture of yourself. A little bit about realism. We are going to try to think about the realistic shapes of our facial features. That means instead of drawing like circles for eyes, we're going to think about maybe what shape your eye is and what shapes represent or commonly represent parts of our face. The shapes of our nose and mouths, heads, lips, and things of that nature. Expression. We're going to talk about some different ways to draw parts of our faces that usually change when we're making a facial expression, okay? Usually it's our eyebrows and eyes and mouths that really show how we feel, and I'm going to show you some different ways of sketching that out. We talked about our facial features, which is our eyes, eyebrows, nose, lips, and other things that are on our faces. Last week we talked a little bit about size when we were going over, or when we were creating our cityscapes and landscapes, okay? And so that's going to be important when talking about the word proportion. Proportion is how large or how small something is compared to something else in that same area. So when we're thinking about proportion, we're thinking about how large our features are compared to the size of our head, or how large our mouth might be compared to the size of our nose. And we want to make sure they're in proportion. Lastly, we're going to be working on a background. Think about what we can put behind ourselves in our self-portrait, okay? Our standard is VA5CR1, which is a drawing standard. We're sticking with these standards right now because a lot of what we're doing with our distance learning is based on drawing and sketching. So we're going to be using 2-dimensional media, so crayons, markers, pencils. If you have it, watercolor paint is just fine, but we're going to be using pencil and marker for this. The standard is to engage in the creative process to generate and visualize ideas by using subject matter and symbols to communicate meaning. So we're really going to hit this by talking about expression and working with expression through our artwork, okay? So let's get to it. So usually, you guys know I've been starting with a marker because you can see a little better, but because we're going to be doing some sketching today, which means I'm going to be doing some really light, quick marks, I'm going to be using a pencil. If you don't have a pencil, don't worry about it. Use whatever you can to start making your art, okay? So, being as though I said we're going to be doing something like a realistic drawing, you see that I'm starting with a sketch, and I'm using short, quick lines, and I'm starting with a basic oval shape for my head, okay? Now I'm going to change that as I go along, but for right now, I'm starting with that. I'm also going to draw a neckline, just something short, 2 short lines over here, to let myself know where my neckline for my shirt can go. And I'm thinking about my shoulders. If I drew my shoulders here, they'd be way too short compared to the size of my head. So to keep them proportionate, I am going to widen them a bit. They could probably go a little wider. Short, quick lines I can draw over easily, okay? Now, the next thing we're going to do is some guidelines. Let's say I have an imaginary line going down the middle of my face. And let's say I have an imaginary line going across the middle. Let's say this is where our eyes are going to be. A lot of times when we're not drawing realistically, we tend to want to put our eyes up here. But this is our forehead and this is the crown of our head if we're looking straight ahead or someone's looking directly at us. So I'm going to put 2 dots here on each side to represent where my eyes are going to go. Okay, so I have this imaginary line right here. Let's say I put my pencil here and then put my pencil at my chin. I want to try to find the middle area between there and there. Is it here? No, not quite. Maybe about here. This is going to be my nose line, okay? That's generally a good place to start drawing your nose, but you can adjust that as you go along. Let's say I put my pencil on my nose guideline. These are all guidelines. They guide you where to go or where to put your facial features. Let's say I put my pencil here and then I take it down to my chin. I want to find a line that's halfway between my nose and my chin. And that is going to be the center of my mouth area. Okay. So I have some good places of where I can start. And don't forget, if you have a mirror, feel free to use one to make some comparisons and look at yourself. Check out the shape of your eyes, your nose, your mouth, and other facial features. Okay. So I think because I'm feeling pretty happy today, my expression is going to be joy. Feel free to write your expression out first because that will guide how you're going to draw. If you feel like you need to change your expression based on your drawings, feel free to do that. So generally, when we're experiencing joy or happiness, our eyebrows are higher. If we're smiling, that means our eyes tend to squint a little bit. So I'm going to draw my eyes kind of squinted. Draw a little pupil there. And not just think about, my eyes as lines, but think about the shape of maybe a squinted eye. Sometimes they curve up like that. Okay. Your nose tends to curve up too. And so I'm looking at a mirror, smiling in it, curving my nose up. Your nose kind of smiles with your face, right? Okay. Look in the mirror again. I'm trying to curve my lips upward. The top of my lip kind of thins out when I smile wide. Okay. Same lip up here. Have a pretty good smile line here and here. Okay. I could probably draw my nose line here because my nose is totally smiling when I smile. Maybe draw my eyes a little closer together. That's the good thing about sketching. Just kind of draw over things. And if you need to, you can erase. And if you don't have anything to erase with, don't worry, just draw over it. Okay? My eyebrows are kind of raised. My eyebrows are kind of far away from my eyes, so I'm going to draw those up here. Now, this is joy. Just for example, let's say if I wanted to show some anger or frustration, a lot of times our expression is in our eyebrows as well. So if I was angry, my eyebrows might point downward. Or frustrated. And instead of a smile, like I said, your mouth tells the story too. I would draw my mouth going downward. See how those two things just changed my whole expression. So think about emphasizing your eyebrows and your mouth when you're thinking about your expression. Which direction do they need to go? look in the mirror and look at yourself and see which directions they go. But I think I'm going to return to joy. So I'm going to bring my eyebrows back up. And then bring that smile back. And bring that smile line back too. Now, of course, we're trying for a little bit of realism. Are we expecting this to look picture perfect? Absolutely not. We're just doing some skill building right now. We're trying to make sure we're not using circles for eyes anymore, or, you know, triangle noses or line noses, okay? We want to try to practice real facial features, okay? Think about the details in your face. Eyelashes if you have them, okay? If you want to draw your teeth, you can draw your teeth. Some little details like that if you want to. Or if you don't want to draw your teeth, you can just draw a shadow inside your mouth, or maybe you're chatting. It's a lot of ways you can do that. It's up to you. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to draw my hairline. That's right, my hairline on my edges. So I'm looking in the mirror. My hairline isn't too far away from my brows. And so I'm going to bring this down a little bit, which means I'm going to decrease the size of my head too. I drew a little too big, which is fine. I'm going to use some short, quick marks over them. Hairline is a little rounder, so I'm going to make it a little rounder. And I'm also going to draw my ears here. Let's say I have an imaginary line from this corner of my eye to the side of my face. That's where my ears are going to go. You guys know I love cool earrings, so what earrings I have on today. Cool. Now, I have my expression, I have my facial features. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my hair. So if you have hair, you don't have any hair to draw. Just worry about the shape of your head. If you do have hair, think about the type of hair that you have. Do you have locks? Do you have braids? Do you have short curls? Do you have long curls? Do you have loose curls? Do you have tight curls? However you want to use lines to represent your hair, feel free to do that. I'm going to use some curved lines and some longer freeform shapes, kind of like thick lines, to sketch my hair. Right now it's kind of, sometimes it's a little crinkly. So right now it is, actually today it's a little straighter. So I think I'm gonna draw my locks a little straighter. You know, I'm overlapping. Remember, when you're drawing things in front of other things, when you're drawing things that are overlapping other things, you have to erase the lines that are sitting in between the things that are overlapping, because you're not supposed to be seeing the things that are behind them. Okay? So if you have hair, draw your hair. If you have a short haircut, you have a fade, flat top, buzz cut, whatever it is that you have, try to find the lines or shapes that you need to represent your hair. I'm also wearing a hoodie today, so I'm going to draw the shape of my hoodie, or my hood folded around my neck. There you go. Fullness under there. Okay. And because I'm overlapping my hood over that shirt, part of the shirt that I had just drawn, I'm going to erase it. Remember, if you don't have an eraser, don't worry about it. We're just practicing these skills. I want to see you trying to draw facial features and showing an expression. Okay? So, that's a pretty good start. What do you think? So here is my finished sketch of my expressive self-portrait. Remember, a sketch is just the beginning. It's kind of like a plan for what you want your drawing to eventually look like. Okay, so we're not finished. I'm not finished, but that doesn't mean that you can't finish. You guys keep working on your self-portraits. Remember to emphasize your expression. Think about a feeling and think about how you're going to change the features of your face, especially your eyes, eyebrows, and mouths, to represent or to demonstrate that feeling. Okay, now remember, this is just the first half of this project. Every project is 2 weeks. So I'm not going to post another video for this project next week because of spring break. So I hope you guys have an amazing spring break and enjoy whatever you're doing, as long as you're staying inside and staying safe, taking care of each other and your families and all those things. But feel free to visit this channel. I might post some other things for you guys to do in the meanwhile. Okay, so while you're working on that, keep sketching, keep thinking about your expression, guys. And thank you so much for watching me and enjoying this today. And thank you for your subscribes and for your likes, guys. Most importantly, please, same rules that we have in the art room. Please be nice to each other. Practice self-control. Help those around you, okay? And help take care of yourselves and your families together, okay? Keep in touch. Remember to feel free to send me pictures of your work in progress through our Teams channel, through our Park Lane channel, or through all the other means that we're keeping in touch, guys. And just know that I can't wait to see you again. I can't wait to see your art, and I look forward to hearing from you. Please stay healthy and stay creative. Until next time.